This is Godzilla, and this isn't your typical movie monster. You see, most creatures in cinema are designed to be hunted. They are pests. They are something for the military to shoot at, or for a scientist to outsmart in the third act. King Kong just wants to go home. The xenomorph just wants to reproduce. But Godzilla is a king. But he didn't start that way. And this is where things get complicated. Because much like Steve Rogers waking up in the 21st century, Godzilla has undergone a transformation that is frankly baffling. When we look at the modern MonsterVerse, the Americanized blockbuster version of the character, we see a superhero. He's huge, he's muscular, and he's essentially the bouncer of planet Earth. When a three-headed dragon from space shows up, we call Godzilla. When a giant ape gets rowdy, we call Godzilla. But to understand why this character shift is so strange and perhaps a little bit disturbing, we have to go back to the beginning. Because before he was a hero, he was a scar.
In 1954, Japan was less than a decade removed from the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The wound wasn't just fresh, it was still bleeding. The original Gojira wasn't an action movie, it was a horror film. It was a funeral dirge. Look at the design. The skin wasn't meant to look like dragon scales. It was designed to resemble the keloid scars of radiation burn victims. Godzilla wasn't protecting the balance of nature, he was the imbalance. He was the physical manifestation of the nuclear holocaust, waking up to punish humanity for its arrogance. He didn't fight other monsters, he fought us, and he was winning. Then he came to America, and this is where the rewrite begins. When the film was imported to the US in 1956, they didn't just dub it, they re-edited it. They inserted an American reporter, played by Raymond Burr, to narrate the action. But more importantly, they stripped away much of the political weight. The direct references to the bomb, the somber reflection on Japanese suffering. That was too heavy for a Saturday matinee. America took a metaphor for its own use of nuclear weapons and turned it into a creature feature, a big bug movie. And for decades, that's how the West saw him. A guy in a rubber suit stomping on cardboard buildings. Campy, fun, a little silly. We won't talk about 1998. That wasn't Godzilla. That was a very large iguana with a confusing reproductive cycle. Let's move on. The real shift, the moment America decided to turn the monster into a mascot, happened in 2014 with Legendary Pictures. This is a post-9/11 Godzilla. He is terrified, yes, but he's also necessary. In Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters 2019, the script flips. Suddenly, the military isn't trying to kill him. Well, they try and it doesn't work, so they decide to follow him. Ken Watanabe's character, Dr. Serizawa, delivers the thesis statement of the American Godzilla. The arrogance of men is thinking nature is in our control and not the other way around.
Let them fight.
It sounds profound, it sounds respectful, but look closer at what's actually happening. In the 1954 original, the nuclear bomb is the sin that creates the monster. It is the horror. In King of the Monsters, the American military uses a nuclear bomb to revive Godzilla. Think about the gymnastics required for that narrative pivot. We took the victim of nuclear trauma and turned the nuke into his steroid shot. We turned the weapon that destroyed him into the spinach for Popeye. It is the ultimate Americanization of the myth. The bomb isn't bad anymore. The bomb is just fuel for the good guy. And make no mistake, he is the good guy now. He is Captain America with dorsal fins. He has an arc, he has a personality. In Godzilla vs. Kong, he's practically a wrestling heel turn face. He smiles, he has a rivalry. He teams up with his enemy to fight a greater threat. This is what makes the character interesting to an American audience. We struggle with the idea of a problem that cannot be solved by a bigger gun or a stronger punch. We don't like force of nature stories where we just have to endure the storm. We want to ride the storm. We want the storm on our payroll. But look at the contrast. While America was making Godzilla a superhero who teams up with King Kong in the Hollow Earth, Japan released Godzilla Minus One. In that film, Godzilla is terrifying again. He isn't there to restore balance. He is there to finish the job the war started. The heroes aren't looking for a way to help him. They are desperate, traumatized civilians trying to survive him. It swept the Oscars because it remembered something the American films forgot. The monster is supposed to mean something.
So, does that mean the American Godzilla is wrong? Is he just a hollow spectacle? Not necessarily. Just as Steve Rogers had to evolve from a propaganda tool in the 1940s to a fugitive questioning his government in Civil War, Godzilla had to evolve to survive the box office. The superhero Godzilla reflects our current culture. We live in a world of massive, complex geopolitical threats, climate change, pandemics, global conflict. These are monsters we feel powerless to stop. So we invent a fantasy where a giant, benevolent monster rises from the ocean to handle it for us. We project our desire for a savior onto the very thing that used to haunt our nightmares. It's a coping mechanism. If Godzilla is a bad guy, we're responsible for creating him. If Godzilla is a hero, then our nuclear heritage, our military might, and our tendency to meddle with nature are justified. See, we didn't break the world, we just woke up its guardian. It allows us to watch a city get leveled and cheer rather than weep. This is the tragedy and the triumph of Godzilla. He's the most versatile character in fiction. He can be a metaphor for the Holocaust, a campy dad protecting his son, an environmentalist, or a WWE superstar. The American rewriting of Godzilla history essentially says, we can fix this. It's the ultimate optimist's take on the apocalypse. We took the Grim Reaper and gave him a badge. So when you watch the next MonsterVerse movie and you see Godzilla blast a hole through the center of the earth to high-five a giant ape, enjoy it. It really is. But just remember the shadow he casts. Remember that beneath the CGI spectacle and the superhero landing, there is a ghost of a very different time. A time when the roar didn't mean I'm here to save you, it meant run. And maybe, just maybe, we prefer the superhero version because it helps us sleep at night. Because if the monster is on our side, we don't have to look in the mirror.